when you're in the house, if you whether you're just now starting your journey or on to being in a relationship, or you're married or whatnot, you do have to earn that right to lead just by nature. You can't ask a woman, then God forbid you have kids in that situation, to follow your lead and you're unsure of who you are. And credit what credit is due. Most women can think or see things that we definitely can't see. But when that man has that strong conviction and you say, look, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is where we're going to go, and you have that authority, most men can stick and stay the course. And that's one of the things while we are around, it's okay to be the man. It's okay to have structure. It's okay to create order. It's okay to do all of that. But if you're trying to create that structure, you're not following your own example. If you're trying to get your wife to do X, Y, and Z, but you don't do it, if you're trying to preach and teach to your kids, if you don't do it, that they should, that's confusion. That's not following the leader, which you are the leader of that household. Hey, friends and family, what's going on? This is another episode of Talks with Ken. Episode 8 to be exact. This is the place where motivation lives, inspiration thrives, and personal growth resides. Yes, you are in the right place today. I got a pretty good message for you guys today. It's morely gonna be aimed towards the men. And I think it's warranted at a time like now. Recently, the Epstein files were released, and you got a lot of craziness going on, and a lot of emotions and feelings going around in our streets, and a lot of uncertainty. And I thought this was perfect timing to discuss this. This has actually been on the docket for a couple of weeks now, and I decided to go ahead and jump in on it today. So, what am I going to discuss, fellas? Tune in right now. I want to tell you it's okay to be a man in today's time. It's okay to be a man. I know everything around you has been pushing, pulling, prodding at who you are as an individual, what you are or what you ain't doing. And that can be taxing, that can be hard. And I know a lot of times, men, we do sometimes try to say we're good, the whole family's gonna be fine. And you can probably be suffering in silence, which isn't a good place to be. And so, one thing that I can jump in and say right now, I love a lot of these podcasts that I'm seeing where men are open and vocal with what they're going through. Because sometimes individuals that live in their own households don't really understand what they're trying to convey. I do understand where you are going through and what you're going through at times like that. But, this video is solely to encourage you. I want you to understand that once you decide that you're going to lead a household, that's number one, that's hard. That's hard for anybody. And I'm not saying that certain women don't lead their own households or individual parent households, nothing like that. But in the confines and the construct of a two-parent household, that can be daunting. There can be a lot of questioning the leadership. Is he doing the right thing for the family? Is he not doing the right thing for the family? And I think that some men, when the going gets tough, they kind of can resort to comfort, and not just individually, but comfort for the household. And I want to tell you this: when you become that man of the house, whether you lead with a graceful type of leadership or a stern hand, whatever, what have you, you will be the villain at one time in your house. And it's so easy to fall susceptible to what the world is saying should or should not happen in the house. It seems as though a lot of women have those safe places to go and vent, and other women agree or show up for their support. But there are a lot of men that question, one, am I doing the right thing? Should I try to do something different? But I want you to rest in solitude that once you decide to go inward, figure you out first, and then bring those rules and regulations in your house by way of order and structure, you continue to do that. As long as you know that you are not doing anything with malicious or malintent, you have to define you for you. You have to define your role in the house first before those in the house can feel number one, your authority, your love, your care, your patience. You have to exemplify that for yourself first. Let me backtrack a little bit on that too. When you're in the house, if you whether you're just now starting your journey or on to being in a relationship, or you're married or whatnot, you do have to earn that right to lead. just by nature, you can't ask a woman, and God forbid you have kids in that situation, to follow your lead and you're unsure of who you are. Now, that's an ongoing thing, but it's like, do this because I say so. Yeah, okay, but that may or may not be the right decision. And you got to give women credit where credit is due. Most women can think or see things that we definitely can't see. But when that man has that strong conviction and you say, look, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is where we're gonna go, and you have that authority, most men can stick and stay the course. They can. And that's a gift for a man. And that's one of the things while we are around, when we have the idea, when we have that conviction, we go with it, unapologetically. And that's kind of what I want to get into a little bit more too. It's okay to be the man. It's okay to have structure. It's okay to create order. It's okay to do all of that. But if you're trying to create that structure, you're not following your own example. If you're trying to get your wife to do X, Y, and Z, but you don't do it, if you're trying to preach and teach to your kids, if you don't do it, that they should, that's confusion. That's not following the leader, which you are the leader of the household. But that's confusion. And so that's why I always implore you to go into your quiet place. Go into your quiet place, figure you out first. I mean, that's for a woman too, but when you are quote unquote supposed to be the leader of the household, you got to have something to stand firm on. Yes, it's okay for you to have emotions. Yes, it's okay for you to have feelings. But we're men. We don't really not led by our emotions. We can have them, but we are not led. We are not easily persuaded by our emotions. That's biology. And if you are led all the time with your emotions, maybe you really need to go and sit down and talk with somebody. But you have to have that conviction. You have to define what type of man you're trying to be and exhibit that to your family, to your wife, to your spouse, to your girlfriend, whoever it is. You got to exhibit that to them. Nowadays, like, man, you know what? I can follow him. He knows where he's going. Even if he don't know, that feeling she receives in which she like, you know what? I can lower my anxious level. I can lower all this anxiety I'm having because he is doing the best thing for us. So yes, sometimes as a man, you got to earn that right to lead. You can't just come into a situation saying I'm the man and I'm here, and then I'm going to lead because everything happens under your leadership. And to my second point, how do we, as a group, as a unified couple, move forward from disagreements, from disappointment, excuse me, from anything that we deem that's going to be a bump in the road or no fly zone? How do we move forward as a couple? We move forward, number one, by both individuals going into their own corners, figuring themselves out, and then wanting the best for that relationship. I'm going to say this a lot on every episode that I'm talking about the union because unions are as good as what you pour into it. The man should want as much as for that wife as he wants for himself, and that woman should want as much for her husband as she wants for herself. Like unequivocally, when you tired and your husband want to do something, you should do it. And when you tired and your wife want to go do something, you don't want to go to the stove, go. You don't want to go shopping, go. That makes her feel good. You ain't got to understand it, but it makes her feel good. There is a fine line, read between the lines. There is a fine line to where you can't make somebody do something against their will. Hint, because you do got to have agreement on that. But what I'm saying is there should be things that you guys collectively come together on once you guys both go inward and try to continuously work on yourself because you're not a finished product and you probably never be a finished product before you leave this green earth. But you got to have that commitment to one each other and that union and know that you are leading. I think some of that conviction, that guilty conviction falls on men trying to figure out whether they're doing the right thing. If you are providing for your family the best way you know how, whether that's going to work, that's hustling the right way, whatever. If you know that you are doing the right thing, not cheating, not out here doing anything illegal or unethical, who is to say you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a man? And we're trying to use so many definitions from people who ain't even figured it out themselves in our own household. You got to define what that temperature is going to be in your household and be okay and stand firm in their convictions. Again, everybody's looking to you to lead. I'm not saying that we don't supposed to have feelings, but we can shoulder a lot. I'm about to butcher this one quote, but in those tough times when we were trying to, I don't know who said this, but they said you can't ask a wave for directions. You got to be the post in the middle of the ocean. Women, i.e., are the waves. I think I could be misconstruing this a little bit, but the women's emotions change every 5 to 10 minutes. I believe I read that in one of those books. And if that is the case, it's okay for you to, like, you know what? I'm gonna go in this direction. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And what happens in that transaction is that your wife, your spouse, will see, I know he wrong, but I'm gonna let him think he right on this. And then what's gonna happen is that man can be like, you know what? This ain't right. I think I did the wrong thing. He's gonna realize it. You will realize it. And then what happens is that union will still be intact because now you done messed up your ego. You did, not your wife. You did. And then he gotta tell you, I told you so. But she will understand I was right in that one again, something like that. Let him go ahead and figure it out. That's the only way as a man. A man is only going, they got to test that water a little bit. Test it. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. But if a man gets to the point to where you want him to lead, and then when he makes that leadership decision, and then the first thing you do is say, I told you so, that's going to start an argument. That's going to start an argument. Y'all going to get upset with each other, and it ain't going to be good. And every time you cross that bridge, he's going to be afraid to do what he needs to do as a man. And then you're going to say, well, I need somebody to lead. Well, he is trying to lead, but you got on him for being wrong that one time. I'm going to tell you right now, in my relationship, I've probably been wrong a good many times. My wife, maybe at the beginning, but she's really never said, I told you so. It's more of when we sit down and have our meeting of the minds, it's more of a, what does she do? She normally just, she don't really rebuttal. She just give me a look. She give me a look like, okay, all right. I know you guys who on radio world. I'm just kind of looking sideways a little bit and kind of nodding my head. That's her trying to process it, but she know over the time I have earned that right to go ahead and lead. I don't just jump into it saying, okay, trust me and trust me unequivocally in what we're gonna do in this thing. Again, me and my wife, we've been together for 22 years and married for 18. And or this year to be 18. That's a lot of ups and downs. I mean, that's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of it. But over time, I've earned that right to garner her trust. I can tell you right now, I have never cheated on my wife, never stepped out, never did anything illegal or unethical for this family. Nothing. I haven't. And so with me having that conviction, I got a healthy, I don't give a F when it comes to some of the things. If my wife was to say, I feel XYZ, yes, I hear you and I have empathy for how you feel. I'm not, going against how you feel in the situation, but my conviction to move the family in a certain direction is so strong that I know this is what we need to do at this point in my life. I trust our union. I trust the process. I trust her. Because at that point, I'm putting ownership back on her. That's how we move forward. Because it's like any man can set the temperature, can set he can have a house in Maui overlooking the ocean, 10 bedrooms, 18 baths, balconies, indoor and outdoor pool, whatever. You can do all of that. Set the mood, set the situation just right. If she don't feel good on the inside, she ain't gonna like it anyway. And that ain't got nothing to do with you. You giving her what she want, clothes, house, whatever. That's where the ownership falls on your spouse. So when you decide to move in a direction, you got to have conviction in yourself that you're doing the right thing and you act in accordance to what's right for your family. And then when you do that, if she says no and try to buck the system, you got to have that healthy, I don't give a F. Hey, you'll be all right. Trust me, when we get to this point, you're going to be fine. You're going to be the villain. And if you have kids, that's going to be amped up. Like, why? Why is daddy doing this? Why are we doing this? Why should we do this? Man, this don't feel right. Da, da, da. But as a man, because you set the temperature, your wife will see that you are moving with conviction. Hey, are you enjoying it so far? I want to take a time out right now so you can click this link to become a part of the Talks with Ken family. Go ahead, click the subscribe link below. I appreciate everything you're doing for me. Let's go on this journey together, okay? Now, back to our regular programming. See you on the other side. And you're moving with authority, and she would naturally, like, you know what? He ain't led us astray yet. And then she will start to promote, she will start to help see your blind spots of your own plan. And then your kids will see that comfort from their mom. And that's how that whole situation organically happens. So, message to the men, it's okay to sometimes be on the island by yourself, but you can also reach out to your brothers around you. Of course, I'm here. I'm here for you. You can reach out to me on socials, whatever. I'm here for you. But life gets hard. But man, you gotta rest assured. But between your four walls in your household, you set the temperature. You do. But you got to do it in a leader type of way. Like your kids, you got to meet your kids where they at. One kid, two kids, three kids, five, or whatever. You got to understand what each kid is like, what drives them, what hurts them, what motivates them. Then you got to see what comfort level your wife have on new opportunities, new situations, her stress level, stress tolerance, stuff like that. Then you got to understand what makes you tick. These are all things as a leader, what you have to bring to the table. And so if you leave one of these stones unturned, your wife will, your kids will. It'll be harder for you to say, hey, don't do X, Y, and Z. Side note, I work out. I'm over 40. And now I'm not the strongest. I'm probably in the best shape that I've been in my life since high school. But it's like one of those things where kids listen to what you show them. Your wife, she do the same thing. She listens to what you show her. Don't get it twisted. And so I try to be good at everything. Now I'm not great at everything, but I try to be good at everything. I know this little thing is like something about being good at everything is you can't be a master at anything or something like that. I know I butchered that. But when you lead by example in everything I do, I try to lead by example. And if I tell my boys to go in there and work out, like, Dad, it's hard. Dad, I'm tired. Dad, I can't do. But by me leading by example, first thing in the morning, if I'm working at home, first thing in the morning, I get me a workout in, get my breakfast in, start on my job, get these projects done. Lunch, I go on a walk or a run. Or sometimes if I'm in the office, I change my workout routine and I read. And then finish up my work day, come home, work out with my wife, cook, straighten up with my wife, have that time on the couch, maybe an hour or so with my wife, debriefing about our day. Then I come in here, probably edit or do a video, but I lead by example. So it's easier for me to hold somebody else accountable because I hold myself to a high standard. That's what I do. I'm setting the temperature. Even when my boys get older, they're gonna look back and see, well, darn, my dad seemed like he did this X, Y, and Z. Without even knowing really what goes behind it, but I'm setting that temperature. And I'm okay with being a villain here and there. I am. My kids love me. I love them unequivocally. I do. But it don't mean they don't come with some chastising. It don't mean it don't come with some hard times. And the more I do, and the more I learn myself, the more I love myself, it becomes easier to move in the right way. You're gonna have naysayers. You're gonna have, uh, your spouse questioning what you're doing sometimes. I'm okay with it. Like I'm okay with it. Kind of stoic in a way of saying, I hear you, but this is what we got to do. I'm okay with being the villain or the bad guy today. That's cool. Come give me some love. I'm gonna give you some love. It's easier said than done, but I did that because I know me. I learned me, and I want the world for my family. I want the world for my wife. One thing, my wife, she really don't ask me to go out of the way and do anything crazy. She don't really want to do all this little TV stuff. Yeah, she got some stuff that she like, and I got some stuff that I like. But we come together, meeting of the mind, and we'll do as we must. But this message today, mainly because I know as a country, all this crazy stuff that's been popped off in the news media, we need leaders. And that those leaders take place in the household first. I mean, we need you. I mean, we need you. That's why I say I'm your biggest cheerleader. And that's for this show was specifically for the men. But women, I'm your cheerleader too. But as I mentioned, both of us in the union have to take some type of ownership of us. What do we do, or what do we bring to that union? So, men, you're not alone. I'm there with you. I've been there. You got to find your happy place. You got to find what motivates you, what makes you happy. Do more of what makes you happy and less of what don't. And you're going to be fine. Again, reach out to your boy. Reach out to your boy if you want to have that conversation. See what's what. I'm always here for you. And then if you're far, find your own group, man. I mean, not saying you're gonna run away from home every time stuff gets crazy and hectic, but it's if you got to step out with your partner 30 minutes, you go ahead and do so. Like me, I don't have a big group, but I do have one or two that I can chime in or call if things were to get hard. But I can say this, for myself, I do find a lot of solitude and answers when I read, when I journal, and then just asking the question, why am I feeling like this in this moment? That kind of lowers my. If I have a stress, my wife probably says stress or anger or something like that. That typically helps me. I want you guys to move in purpose and in power. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I can't wait to reconvene on our next one, okay? All right, peace, love, and harmony. I don't know I got that, y'all, but I'll see y'all later. Peace.